Alright, you guys, I think it's finally time that I review the Halloween The Curse of Michael Myers 1/6 scale action figure by Trick or Treat Studios. When it comes to the box, here's the artwork for it. As you can see, it's got the theatrical poster with the blue mask coming out of the darkness with what I can only assume is the Man in Black's hand with holding the knife. As you can see, we have the nice old tagline, "Terror never rests in peace." The 6 scale Michael Myers figure, we got the Trick or Treat Studios logo right here. We can take the box around and see that we have a logo here on the side. On the back, we have a shot of Michael Myers from the ending scene, which I'm sure is probably the best picture you could have used. I really like that image. The same things on this side, and then opening the box up, we've got a picture of Michael grabbing at the nurse from the beginning, sticking her to the spike on the wall. And as for the quote, we have, "I've wanted to believe it, but I felt Michael's presence behind these walls, just like all those years ago, plotting, staring, waiting for some signal." Of course, before I start the video, I just want to take a brief second to say that this video is sponsored by the Cult of Thorn, so I will have to watch my mouth and what I say. Um, I can't really say what will happen to me if I don't, so let's just get to the review. Taking a closer look at the figure, we can see the amazing sculpt done here over at Trick or Treat Studios. I think they really nailed the mask here. I really do dig this mask. This is one of my favorite Halloween Michael Myers masks that has been produced. Obviously, other than the original. I really like the attention to detail, all the little nooks and crannies and all the little bumps you can see there. Really nice. The hair is also sculpted on really well. Really nicely painted. Got a good 360. And Michael does have some deep set eyes. I think done well. Done better than the 78 figure or the Halloween 2 figure. You could take a close look. If you angle it just right, you can kind of make out the eyes in there. But they're deep in there, and it looks pretty dark. Pretty much what you would want from a Michael Myers figure. Let's take a good 360 view of the coveralls. I think these are really well done and are spot on and accurate to the film. As you can see, we got a good 360. Now this isn't a really kind of battle damaged Michael with all the stuff on him at the end of the film. This is more like before that. This is like more pristine, pretty clean coveralls, I must say. You got the zippers there. There's no actual zippers on it as they removed it in the movie. He's got a black undershirt. Really nice. You can see a couple of sleeves and pockets and some actual pockets here on his coveralls. You can see when it comes to the hands, the sculpting is really well done. Very nasty and grimy. He's got a bunch of veins and burn scars. You can see the individual fingernails. Really disgusting. Really nicely painted, I must say. And you can see, flip the hand around like this. Got some creases and attention to detail in the hands. And they look very nice. They're very nicely sculpted and very nicely painted. Move down the figure's torso. As we move to the legs, as you can see, it kind of transitions from this more or less cleaner, just a little bit weathered coveralls to having a little bit of dirt and grime just kind of sitting towards the lower half of the legs, and I think it looks really nice. It's very subtle, but you can clearly see that there's dirt there. And we move to the boots here, which I think are accurate. These are double H boots, leather combats, and these are really nicely painted and sculpted. We got, of course, dirt, a little bit of muck there at the edge of the boot. Here's underneath. Really nice. Really nice figure. So now we're going to be moving on to the figure's articulation. Instead of the accessories. We'll get to that last. But first we have this ball joint at the head, which allows for some good old articulation posing. Looks pretty far up and pretty far downward. He has, of course, this waist swivel, a little bit of a crunch. His arms can come out about this far. Don't try to push it because you don't want to break these guys. They can be pretty fragile if you're kind of manhandling these. He has a single bend in the arms. Really nice. And of course, his hands have a good old joint, as you see there. This little peg is a little loose on the right hand. Not too bad, but it is a little bit of a pain. But as you can see, it does rotate like this. Really good articulation for the hands. Now, we'll move on to the lower half of the torso. The legs can have a good amount of articulation. They come out about that far. Obviously, they're going to be limited due to the clothing here. Now, they don't go back too far. They can come up about this far, obviously. What Michael Myers can't be able to, sit up. He needs his iconic sit up. But, anyways, he has a double bend in both knees. So if you want him to leap into the air with some hurrahs, it's like at the ending of a movie maybe if he won or something. There you go. You could do that. Anyway, sorry about that. I went on a little bit of a tangent there. In the boots, he has a ball joint. Some good old rotation. And that's it for the posing and articulation of this figure. Now we'll move on to the accessory segment, which is probably my favorite part. So first things first, of course, Michael here comes with these default relaxed hands. Very neutral, very boring. Let's move on to the alternate hands that he comes included with. Add that all these hands are also well detailed, just as detailed as the relaxed hands. Here we have this alternate hand that can grab certain weapons, which we'll get to in a second here. But as you see, also well detailed. You can see the hole there to wield weapons. Of course, what Michael Myers would it be if he didn't come included with some strangling hands, these grabby hands where he's going to reach out and try to grab you? Also well detailed. Oh, by the way, just like the Halloween 5 figure, unfortunately there's no mark of thorn on his wrist here, which I think is fine, because these coveralls are going to cover it up anyway. But you can see really nicely detailed. So if you want, you can have some grabby hands to display for your Michael Myers. Did I mention how good this mask looks? When it comes to the weapons that he can use, we've got a pretty decent selection. Not many, but I think they're all great. Of course, what Michael Myers figure would it be without his trusty, deadly butcher knife? This is the one seen in Halloween 6, and it looks really nice, very sharp. Of course, you just stick it in the hand like this, and he'll hold it pretty nicely. He looks very, very cool. Very cool with this. Look at that. Super, super, super nice. I really do like this knife. It looks really good, but obviously I'm not going to display it because of this other accessory that we've got to show you guys. First, this is Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, and if you've seen that movie, then you know about when Michael here used this deadly, very sharp axe to chop off Deborah Strode's head. Very cool scene, very iconic for that movie. And of course, just like the knife, go ahead, just stick it in here, and now you got him holding the axe. So you can have him wielding the axe like this, and I think this is how I will keep him displayed, because I really do like the axe. This was a really nice accessory to have, and it kind of makes me wish that we had the scythe for Halloween 5, because I think I would have liked that figure a lot more. But here, of course, we have the axe, and it looks very, very sharp, and Michael is ready to use it, so be careful. Final accessory with the entire figure. This is the jack-o'-lantern. Now, as you know, this jack-o'-lantern is at the end of the movie, and it flickers off. Obviously, it's blown out. But this does have a light-up feature on the back of the jack-o'-lantern. As you can see, you have a screw here to get into the battery compartment if you need to replace the batteries. But you press this down right here, and this turns on. And of course, I'll show you what that looks like in the dark right now. But obviously, this is a really neat jack-o'-lantern, and definitely going to be displaying the figure with this guy, this little jack-o'-lantern dude. And this is probably also a really neat jack-o'-lantern. It kind of makes me wonder why they use this as an opening for the movie. That's one of my complaints about the film, is the opening isn't too great. I kind of wish they used this jack-o'-lantern as like an homage to the original Halloween, or Halloween 2. I think it would have looked nice. It would have definitely been a nice open to the movie, but really cool accessory to have with this figure nonetheless. Now, if you're a Halloween fan like myself, or just a Halloween 6 fan like myself as well, I love this movie. One of my favorites, and I'm not ashamed to say that. Definitely recommend getting this guy. He does retail for about $200 plus tax and shipping. Obviously, Trick or Treat Studio sells them on their website. You can get it as well on Big Bad Toy Store or any online retailers like that. One of my favorite figures, 6 scale wise. I love the attention to detail. I love the accessories. I love that head sculpt. It looks really fantastic. It looks very scary and eerie, and I'm sure you can pull off some really awesome shots with this figure. And overall, really love this figure. It's awesome. It's one of my favorites. Definitely a nice figure to own if you don't have them already. Getting the camera as far away from the figure as I can, we're gonna do some measurements on this guy, starting from the base all the way up. Of course, he stands about just a little bit over a foot, which is 12 inches, due to the hair being a lot bigger than some of the other Halloween figures. But he overall stands about 12 inches, which is standard height for 6 scale figures, and definitely a monster to be reckoned with. Now at the end of the review, the only thing left I have to ask is, what do you think of the figure? Do you think it's worth picking up? And what do you think of the timeline, the Thorn trilogy, and all that fun jazz? Do you think this is a worthy figure for your Halloween collection, or maybe you'll pass up on it? Here is the predecessors to this timeline. Of course, we got on the left Halloween 4, on the right Halloween 5, and now my reviews on this timeline are finally done. If you don't take into account what Maleka Cod said with the Cult of Thorn timeline being canon to the H2O timeline. But anyways, enough rambling. Thank you guys for checking out this figure review today. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please subscribe, because I will be making more of these. I do have more figure reviews down the pipeline, and I will see you guys in the next one. See you later.